Okay, Mr. Phobes here. This is going to be a video on how to create your color chromatic transparency palettes in Illustrator. So we're going to start by doing on the left, we're going to do the split complement color study, and on the right, we're going to do the analogous study. So before we get started, one thing you're going to need to do um, is you're going to have to go to the chromatic transparency folder under assignments, and then you scroll down and then select the CMYK color wheel. It'll open up, and then right click and go save image as, and save it to the desktop because we're going to need that later. Okay, um, now let's create a new file in Illustrator. So what we want to do now, because I've done this, I've got a template and it's right here. So I could just select that and it would give me the dimensions. So we're going to create an artboard that's 16 inches wide, 8 inches high. Let's create 3 artboards. We'll set it to CMYK color and then go to more settings and put a space of 1 inch between them, and then set them up for columns, arrange by columns. And then when you create document, what you'll see is them set up like this. One of the things that you want to do is make sure that when you get set up, let's be in Essentials, make sure that you have the colors checked, the layers checked, and that you have transparency checked. The other thing is we want to go view, and we want rulers, show rulers, because we need to create some guidelines. Okay. Why don't we go ahead and create the geometry, and I'm going to just, to make this a little bit easier, I'll enlarge it to just 1. So to create the geometry, we go to the shape palette, and we're going to select the ellipse tool and just click, and then you'll have this dialog box come up. We're going to create a 4-inch wide by 4-inch high ellipse, which is a circle, and then we're going to hit OK. Now what we want to do is we want to go to the palette, and we want to change the fill to a gray, and then we don't want a stroke, so select the stroke and then the little none, and there'll be no stroke. Now the one thing we want to do is we want to change the opacity of our circle. So go to the transparency palette over here, and then we'll just slide it down to around 60. That should be good. So it's now transparent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this circle 2 times. So I'm going to just move it up a little bit, and now I'm going to hit the Option key, and then I'm going to very carefully move this, and what I want is the Smart Guide to be lining up, and then right when it says intersect, right there, I've aligned them so they're perfectly, the center is lined not only with the center of the circle, but now it's aligned to the edge of the circle. So now I'm going to copy this again, and this time I'm going to take and I'm going to place the center of this 3rd circle right at the intersection of these 2 circles right here. So what that does is that gives me these 3 equal intersections. All right, I'm going to, before I do anything else, I'm going to select the entire object, and I'm going to hit the Option key, and I'm going to move it over here. And I think I've got to make sure I select all of them. I want to move this up so that these guys are lined up. We're going to set some guidelines up here in a minute. Now, what I also want to do is I might as well get set up, and I'm going to select both of these, hit the Option key, hit the Option key again. That copies these guys again. Okay. Now, if I really want them to be aligned perfectly, what I would do is I'd make a guideline at 4, and another guideline at 12. Now, I want to move these, but if I select everything, it's going to select the guideline also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, hit the Shift key. Now they're all grouped. And then what I want to do is I want them right where they intersect. All right. And I suppose I could have grouped these before I went through all of this. All right. And there's probably a more efficient way of doing this. You can probably already figure that out. Okay. I just like getting the geometries all set up. All right, there we go. So we're ready to go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to a view and I'm going to go to guides and I'm going to hide the guides for right now. Okay. So one of the things that I want to do is that I need to flatten them so they're all editable. So I might as well do it all at once. So I'm going to select all 6 of them and I'm going to go Object, Flatten Transparency, hit OK, and then I'm going to go Object, Ungroup. Now they're all individually editable and I'm ready